coming in and I get below 60 knots and I want to go to a hover over a spot, I hit this button right here.
Okay.
It locks up the pedals, the collective, and the cyclic, and it'll just fly itself down till you get to a predetermined height on the radar altimeter. It'll come down to 50 feet and stop, and it goes from hover, decel, to hover mode, and then there's zero airspeed, and it'll lock right in, and it'll hold the hover right at 50 feet without me touching anything.
Oh, nice.
Then to get it on the ground, I just take this little China hat here, and I beep it down, or I hold it down, and the helicopter just starts descending, but it holds its position.
Oh,
until I get on the ground. So I can just basically land a helicopter with that switch.
That's amazing. Oh, and all the stuff that you could do on these that you couldn't even think about doing with the Hueys.
The problem is, and Mike Saisley at LA County probably said it best, you're only going to use 10% of what this aircraft has to offer. Because in the mission that we're in, we're at 500 feet, day VFR, you're going to be flying the aircraft. We can't turn the trim and stuff off. You still have all this augmentation here. But to override that, you push this button here, or you push the one right under the collective. So while I'm flying, if I want to override the friction on the cyclic, I just basically push this button, and you feel the tension come off, and you move it where you want it, then you let go and it resets it. Same with the collective down here.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, if I'm getting tired and I'm flying back to the dip site, I'll set it all up and I'll just take my hands off for a minute and it'll fly itself.
That's good. You can get a little break.
Yeah. So it's got two bottles that you can trip on either number 1 or number 2 engine, or the APU, which is the auxiliary power unit.
Is it up here somewhere? Or?
Yeah, these two handles right here.
Okay.
So if, say I haven't fired a number 2 engine, I pull this throttle before, I pull it off, and as I drag this back, it pulls the fuel valve lever with it off.
Oh, okay.
So that's an emergency shutdown, and it isolates that engine. Then I reach up here, and I either push this forward to the primary bottle, or I bring it, like if the primary doesn't put the fire out, if it's that bad, then I pull this back to the reserve and then fight it again with the second bottle.
Nice.
So I have the ability to fight it twice. Now on the APU, which is the auxiliary power unit,
yeah,
on this thing, that creates all my AC power. So I got to turn that thing on first off. And then if I get a fire in that, because we're still like on startup, because we're only on DC power, I have to use a reserve bottle. I can't even fire the primary bottle. So on DC power, if I get a fire on the APU, I pull this handle down because these light up.
Yeah.
These also light up, and then I get cautions up here.
Now
I'll pull this handle down, and I can only hit the reserve bottle because that still fires under reserve.
Now where's the chip light on these that I'm always hearing about?
So if I fired this up so you can see the display, they come up in the cautionary box.
Oh, okay.
And it'll tell you what chip you had.
Oh,
whether
okay.
it's main gearbox, intermediate, input box, tail rotor gearbox, it tells you. But it's really simple on this helicopter. If you get a chip, and it's also got a self-zapping system in it, so if you get a chip and it's just fuzz, it burns it off.
That's good.
And then if it doesn't come back, you go on about your business. You just notate that on this date, blah, blah, blah. Plus, it's got an onboard computer that records any anomalies on here or any exceedances. And if I push this button right here, it'll record it 15 seconds before the incident and 15 seconds after.
Oh, good.
So what happens is then if I do get a chip light and it clears, I can continue to fly it. If I get another chip light, then I have to land as soon as, or if it stays on, then I have to land as soon as possible. So
nice.
It gives you a lot of backup redundancy, like 3 electrical systems, 3 fuel systems, 3 hydraulic systems, and it's got multiple redundancies in this thing. It was made to get shot up, right? So it's a pretty stout aircraft.
Yeah.